Hi, welcome to How to D&D. My name's Frederick Wheeler, and today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5e and Pokémon Go. Everybody knows about Pokémon Go. It's crazy. People are playing it all over the place. I truthfully, I don't understand it. I've never seen anything like it since I heard about people playing games and not going to the toilet or eating, and video games was a big thing. We've got people walking around the street with cell phones now. So this discussion for me is, I saw something happen last night at the table I was playing Dungeons & Dragons at, and I just couldn't get over it. It actually made me quite angry. And then I've had to think about this a bit more, and I've started to realise that maybe if you can't, I don't see beating this thing. You're going to have to flow with it. How many times are you going to wind up with people at your table playing this game while you're running your game? It's going to be very difficult. And so I thought about, should I run a game of Pokemon as a D&D game? And I realised I actually have already done this. I just didn't call it Pokemon. Many years ago, I ran a campaign that went for quite a long time, and my party started out as animal wranglers, or were hired as animal wranglers after they investigated a murder, and they worked for the Umbra Circus, and that was part of the story. As they were animal wranglers, and they were searching for beasts and monstrosities or monsters that they could capture. They didn't kill them, they had to capture them, bring them back to the circus so they could be incorporated into the show. And it was a hilarious time. We had all sorts of problems crop up. From trying to transport the creatures over land, trying to cage them, having the cage the right size, having to build cages, trying to transport eggs, trying to keep them warm so they didn't die, because all sorts of crazy stuff. So I thought I would discuss that. And I still want to discuss the Pokemon Go game and the pros and cons of this game that I see. But yeah, it seems to be the topic, and after last night I think it needs to be talked about. And I'm not going to cut any of this out, so there'll be a lot of rambling, I suspect. I apologise. I suspect this video will be very, very long, so if it starts getting boring, just click off and go and watch something else. Anyway, my idea is, since I've done this before, I did it with the Isle of Dread. I had them travel to the Isle of Dread, had to capture dinosaurs and beasts and so forth. And as I said, it was quite entertaining. And I'm thinking of doing something like this again, just as a one-shot. I mentioned it at my own game on a Tuesday after we'd finished killing Tarmat, and surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, a couple of women said, yeah, that sounds like a really cool idea. And I suspect there's a couple of guys who would probably do it as well, not necessarily at the table I was running at the time, but certainly after watching what happened last night, there were a lot of people, a lot of men playing this game as well, so it's not just women. Anyway, my suggestion to you is, if you have problems with this game, maybe it's just time to just build it into the game. Get them to put their character sheet on their phone so they can't be playing Pokemon Go at the same time, maybe. So yes, get them to be animal wranglers for a zoo. A zoo would be a good idea, get them employed by a zoo to be animal wranglers, to go out into the wild and capture animals. So they have to trap them, they might fight them, they can knock them unconscious if they're in melee. It means that shooting things and blasting them with magic might not be such a good idea. They'll have to figure out how to sort of capture them, keep them alive. They'll have to find the eggs if they can't drag the body of the creature back. They'll have to keep them warm. I know that in my own game when I did this, a lot of them would carry eggs wrapped up under their armpits, and at night at the end of the adventuring day, they would have to light a fire, put them close to the fire, not too close, otherwise you're going to have scrambled eggs or boiled eggs or hard-boiled eggs or something like that. And then they would literally try to keep them warm. I had somebody who found a dragon egg and would insist on sitting on the dragon egg at the end of every day. Very, very funny. So that's one of my suggestions to you. You can have anything from dinosaurs, beasts, monsters, dragons. I mean, can you imagine trying to get a rock egg back from the mountains, which actually happened in my game. I think they were level 5 or 6, and they fought a rock. I was kind of nice, I didn't drop them off the mountain, but it was a hard fight for them, and they eventually decided, well, okay, we can't take the whole rock, it's just too big a bird, it's huge, so we will try to take its egg. Well, the egg is still very large as well, so trying to get it down the mountain wasn't very easy, and in the end they wound up having to hatch it, and they had to imprint on this baby rock that then followed them everywhere. Then you know, Daddy Rock shows up and they've got to hide, and it gets crazy after that. And then there's the insemination process. Apparently one of my players decided that if we can't have the male and female, we're going to take the ovaries, the eggs, and the sperm out of each animal that we've killed, and we're going to combine them and use some sort of insemination, artificial magical insemination process for combining them so we can create our own. Yeah, I know it sounds really weird, and this video is going in a place that I can tell you now, this video is going in a place that will just seem so strange. God help me. God help you too. Anyway, that's what I would suggest. Do that. That could be quite entertaining. I don't know that you necessarily want to make it a long process, but I will do it as a one-off. I can't believe it. Oh, yeah, okay, so I've said it. Now, pros of this Pokemon Go. Now, there are some things about the game, or things about this game that I think are good. And that is, it is getting people to go outside and walk around. And that's good. They're not inside playing video games, they're just outside playing video games, and they are getting a lot of exercise, because I've watched people walking all over the place, and they look quite tired, like they've been walking for a long time. So it's the ones, yes, well, then I've also seen a few people who are actually running. I have to say that I did actually see a story about an individual, a guy who thought the game was crazy, played it, didn't understand it, and within a few minutes was running down the street back and forth trying to find these creatures to capture them. So yes, good for the cardiovascular heart, running around chasing these things, doing whatever you do in the game, because I truly know very little about it, only sort of what people have explained, and I had a little bit of a look on YouTube so I would have some understanding, so I wasn't completely lost. But yes, so that's a good thing. I don't see people doing it in groups, so I'm assuming you don't go out in a group and hunt for Pokemon because I guess, you know, you're competing to get them. I guess that would be the issue. So that's a good thing. I'm sure there are other good things. They just can't come into my mind. I'm still trying to process all of this. Because truthfully, the drawbacks, there's a lot of people out there who will not understand people playing this game, and I am certainly one. I'm struggling with the whole idea. So the things that I see is, I've watched people almost walk into traffic. You need to be careful if you're playing this game, because seriously, you can't keep looking at that cell phone as you're walking around. You're going to walk into bad places, like into a car, into a pole, into a wall, I mean, who else? Down a hole, fall down a bank, who knows? Just be careful what you're doing with this game. The other thing is, I noticed I saw people chasing other people away. They're obviously playing this game because they're looking at this phone, and you kind of get the idea that they're doing something with their finger. I guess they're playing Pokemon Go. I could be wrong, but getting territorial, that's weird. That's a bad thing. That's really strange. I guess there's something in that location they're trying to capture or get, or I don't know exactly. But yes, don't get into a fist fight over playing this game. It just seems a bit senseless, really. The other thing is, I was listening to some of the stories that were coming up, and there was a story on the news about some lady who was playing this game. Was it a lady, a guy? Truthfully, it doesn't matter. In any case, there was a live news coverage going on, and they walked across the camera, past the presenter, to capture one of these Pokemon things. Gosh, that's a problem. I think that's crazy, personally. It certainly seems like it. I've also heard, I'm in New Zealand, so I don't know what's going on around the rest of the world, and there are lots of places much more dangerous than New Zealand. But somebody told me the story of, there's apparently a Pokemon in the back of a police station that you can't get to, and people are just walking in past an area which is, you know, you've got to be authorised to go there so that they can collect this Pokemon, and they're getting into trouble. So don't go out there and do something stupid so you can get arrested to get into this police station into the back so you can capture your Pokemon. If you're doing that, there's problems, okay? And you need to seek help right now. The other one I heard was apparently Hell's Angels headquarters has a Pokemon in it somewhere. I don't know where this is, somewhere, and if somebody out there now hears this and decides they want to go after this to rear some sort of Pokemon to the Hell's Angels headquarters, don't go into the Hell's Angels headquarters to try and get the Pokemon. Crazy stuff. Don't do it. I was sitting there last night playing Dungeons and Dragons, and people's attentions are not focused on the rest of the world, and they were literally sitting there playing this game, and the Dungeon Master is talking and describing things and asking for people to give feedback, and I did most of the work, really, and I was just sitting in for one game. The rest of them were busy playing this game. I don't know what they were doing exactly, because they can't have been capturing Pokemon, because you have to walk around and do that, right? So they were doing their stuff, and they were totally distracted. And there's a problem. You are not focused on the world around you when you're playing this game. Now, I'm not finished. About halfway through the night, some lady comes in, and she tells everybody, I've been walking around the streets in the dark, down dark alleys looking for Pokemon. Don't go playing this game at night, walking down dark alleys. Even if it's not an alley and it's just a street and it's dark, you're going to get mugged, you might even get raped, I mean, you could get assaulted. Bad things can happen to you. I mean, this was crazy stuff. So if you are the lady who did that yesterday, please don't do that again. And if you're going to do that yourself, don't do it. It is crazy stuff. I wouldn't do that. I still have no understanding why people do this. It's a collector's game, I understand. You can train things, and apparently there's no trading system. Apparently that was supposed to be the big thing. You could trade Pokemon. Anyway, I'm getting off the point. I can't, it's just madness. I work at a drug and alcohol rehab. Now, I think it's time to go back to the good old days when people had addictions that were drugs and alcohol, you know, cocaine, marijuana, alcohol, cigarettes. And, I mean, granted, there's probably more health issues with those things than there are with playing this Pokemon game. But, yeah, what happens if you're doing both? Yeah, what if you're doing this game and you're drinking and smoking and taking drugs at the same time? Which I'm not suggesting you should do. Okay, I have enough business in my own job as it is. But that's a scary thought. Whoa. Yeah. So apparently this game involves you find them, you track them down. You must use like GPS, because it knows where you are as you are walking around. So that means like Big Brother's watching you, knows everywhere you're going. So there's a whole lot of things happening in the world, and right now the world's in a bad shape, and if people are playing Pokemon, I just kind of wonder if maybe this game is like, ooh, we don't have to worry about people rioting or picketing or getting upset, or if they're playing Pokemon, they can't complain because they're occupied, and we know exactly where they are because, you know, I mean, if Pokemon can track where you are, I'm sure that that special software that's out there that they have nowadays, the Prism or whatever it is, can track where you are. So yeah, keep an eye on what you're up to. Just strikes me as kind of scary, actually. I'm starting to sound crazy, but I'm not finished, because I'm sure there are other things that I need to say. Yeah, yeah, this game, you find them, you throw a ball at them and capture them in a ball. So, look, for a long time, games, hundreds of years, games have involved balls. So playing with balls makes perfect sense. And to be fair, the human race would not exist if people didn't play with balls. But you flick the ball and you capture the thing, and I'm at a loss. I just don't understand this. But I'm going to try really hard, since I'm one of the people who don't play the game, and I suspect if I did, it would be bad for me to do so. So I'm going to finish here. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to say, look, if you found this video informative or helpful or hell, even entertaining, I don't know if it's going to be entertaining. I could come out as just rambling garbage, but I've been talking for a long time now, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, if you have a comment about playing Dungeons and Dragons and people playing Pokemon Go at your table, make a comment. If you feel that I've given Pokemon Go a hard time, yeah, I kind of probably have, and you know, fair comment. Please don't abuse me. Just be careful when you're out there playing that game. I'm just more concerned that people are going to hurt themselves. The other thing is, yeah, almost forgot. Don't play this at work. Don't go losing your job because you're playing this game. Oh my God, geez, imagine that. oh my gosh. I don't want to roll a dice in the air. I don't want to throw it up and say my unusual thing. All I'm going to say to you is, don't worry about rolling a d20 and rolling 20s. Just be careful what you're doing out there with this game. And if you are the Dungeon Master, you're going to have to cut your players a little bit of slack, because I seriously think they are addicted, and yeah, you are going to have to slowly help them through this, or just cancel the game. If you're going to play the game, then yeah, just don't come to Dungeons and Dragons to play Dungeons and Dragons. Just go play the Pokemon game, and when you're finished and bored or you run out of money, then cool, come back and play Dungeons and Dragons. So till next time, be really careful out there, okay? Alright, bye.